Hey everybody, I hope you all are doing well and welcome back to Whiskey Wonders. And as it is the end of the year, this is really kind of a great time to reflect on how our whiskey wandering has gone over this last year. That's 2023, specifically at one of our favorite purveyors of whiskey and alcohol overall, and that is at Costco. So today what we're going to be doing is talking about what are the top 5 bottles that we got from Costco in 2023. We'll talk about why we got them, how much we paid for them, and whether or not they were good buys or whether or not they were things that we would buy again. So that could be things like some of the Wellers that we got, as well as some of the higher tier EH Taylors, even some of the Macallans, and some of the rare Blantons that you never really see at Costco and very rarely see this side of the Atlantic. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the top 5 bottles that we got from Costco in 2023. Now, before we get to the video, if you like these videos, if you like the wonders, if you like the hauls, if you like the reviews, if you like the unbottlings, the unboxings, the long videos, the short videos, really all the amazing stuff that we got cooking up for you, and we have tons of amazing stuff cooking up for you, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it does really help the channel to grow, and we are so thankful for that, but also because you get updates when our newest videos come out. All right, now, let's get down to the video. All right, so while we are getting the WandaVision warmed up, let us too ourselves get warmed up and do a real quick whiskey check. And let me get a glass here. And I think what I'm going to be enjoying today is going to be something from the Macallan section, the Harmony Collection, the Intense Arabica inspired, made with a box that is coffee husks. I don't know how that relates, but yeah, so let's go enjoy a little bit of this, the Macallan Harmony Collection Intense Arabica. So see if we can get a pop, flip it over on both sides. Hey, that was pretty good. And get a little juice here. Oh yeah. And it's whiskey. Because let's face it, you can never really drink too much of it. You can only just drink it too fast. Cheers. I still don't get the Intense Arabica, but it's still quite good. Still quite good. Oh, yeah. All right, so first up for today, and these are not in any particular order. They're just the top 5 that we are most excited about, and I guess the happiest about getting from 2023. And again, this one is going to be from Costco, and they're all from Costco. And after looking at it, I mean, a lot of these ones that we were most excited about are actually from the various Costco Grand Openings that we were lucky enough to attend. So there is something to be said about the Costco Grand Openings, and they really do bring out those big bottles for them. So just take a note of that. Now, the first bottle is no different because it is one from the Costco Grand Opening in Arizona from this year, which honestly, Arizona is the bourbon heartland, at least on the West Coast. I'm not sure why, but Arizona just seems to get a way larger selections of bourbons in their Costco's than we see here at California. So maybe they're just like less spread out, or I'm not sure what the difference is, but it seems like there's way more bourbon. Either way, we were super excited to grab this first bottle, which is this Weller Foolproof. Yeah, and in fact, not only is it a Weller Foolproof, but it is also a Weller Foolproof barrel select from the good folks at Costco at Arizona in Buckeye. So we were very excited to get this one and have it as part of our collection. And moreover, we got it at a very amazing price. Now, of course, the bourbon market is starting to slow down, and I am thankful for that, as I am a bourbon drinker more than I am a bourbon collector. And yes, you're still going to see a lot of the Weller lines out there for 2-3 times what their MSRP is. But when you do actually see it in the wild at MSRP, oh man, it's almost startling. It's like you saw like a three-legged dog or something like that. You'd have to take a second look. Now, the Weller Foolproof is one of the newest additions to the Weller family. And it really is meant to provide Weller with a kind of I guess how I look at it, as a better suited bourbon for the modern bourbon drinker's profile, primarily having a higher ABV or higher proof point. Because the 12 is great, sure, the Weller 12 is nice and it is difficult to get, especially at a reasonable price. But when we had tried it, the first thing that came, at least into my mind, was that this one is great, but what would make it better would be a higher proof. So the Weller Foolproof is a nice kind of happy medium where you get the standard Weller profile from the standard Weller line, albeit a bit young, but you also get the higher ABV and don't have to go up to the William LaRue Weller or obviously the previous Antique 107, which was the highest before that. The price that we got this one for at Costco was $37.99. And for folks who don't live in states that don't have like the government liquor stores, that is an amazing price for sure. And as I mentioned, the ABV is nice and healthy on this one, specifically at 57% ABV or 114 proof, which is definitely well adjusted to the Roaring 20s bourbon taste profile. So obviously this one was one that we picked up and we were very excited to have it. The Weller Foolproof, it's just very interesting to have, and it fills out our collection very nicely, and we're still trying to hunt down that CYPB. Fingers crossed, right? Maybe in 2024. But the other thing is that, it feels way less guilty popping this bad boy open when you get it at $37.99 rather than whatever absorbent prices they're charging out there. So that is the Weller Foolproof, the first of the 5 that we were most excited about for 2023 from Costco. And yeah, it's great. Now, next up is a whiskey that in 2022 was so hard, so hard to find. But luckily in this year, 2023, it started to make a lot more appearances than in the previous year, which is this Yamazaki 18. Now, I think part of the reason why it became easier this year is logistical. A lot of those logistical log jams that were there in 2022 kind of really got cleared up in 2023, but it also seems to be more available, obviously, because of, it became very less competitive price-wise as Suntory had their big cost increase this year. And also, as a side note, Suntory was sort of, fighting with themselves. They were outcompeted themselves, but we'll get to that one here in a sec. This one specifically, we got for $479. I believe we got it from the Costco in San Diego. I could be wrong, because we got a couple of these, but each time we see them, they're very cool to get. The ABV on it is at 43% ABV or 86 proof. So, it's not going to put you back on your heels, but really that isn't why anyone drinks Yamazaki, whether it's the 12 or the 18. The beauty of the Yamazaki is the Japanese perspective on whiskey that translates through it. That kind of nuanced approach, rather than these big, bold kind of bourbons, you get a more kind of well-balanced and interesting and kind of light touch whiskey to it. So the Yamazaki 18 is absolutely delicious. It is sweet and is relatively soft-spoken. And I think that's one of the things that I really love about it. One thing is for sure that although it is less difficult to get in 2023, it is still not easy, and even at a reasonable price. So seeing it at Costco, it was always amazing to see. And also, keep in mind that many of the Japanese whiskey lovers who are also Costco members or Costco participants or Costco congregation, if you will, they are pretty quick on the draw. So when it does hit the shelves, a lot of times it goes quite quick. But one of the reasons, I think one of the biggest reasons, aside from the prices this year, that it stayed on the shelf so long is because it outcompeted itself with the Yamazaki 18 100th year anniversary, which also came out. And I think a lot of the folks who had the money to buy the Yamazaki 18 normally kind of splurged a little bit to pay sometimes even double for the Yamazaki 18 100th anniversary. So not only did it raise the prices, which kind of put a damper on some of that demand, I think it also outcompeted itself with a version of itself that is more exclusive and kind of more collectible, if you will. But still, it is always a good thing to see on the shelf. I'm always happy to see it, even with the higher prices, because at $4.79, it's still way better than what you're going to get it for at a Total Wine or at your mom and pop liquor store or at your local whiskey purveyor. So that one was a nice one to see in 2023 as well. I guess that's number 2 on the list, the Suntory Yamazaki 18 so good Japanese whiskey. Now, the next up is another one that we saw at a grand opening in Arizona. It's a whiskey, in fact, that I have never seen prior to that sold in California, at least up to that point. I think maybe they have been recently. But earlier this year, I had never seen it in California, and especially not at this level, which is going to be this E.H. Taylor barrel proof. Yeah. And if you have watched the channel at all, or for any period of time, you will have known that I am a huge fan of E.H. Taylor. There's just something about it, that vibes very well with my taste palette. And in general, it typically is the go-to bourbon that I have when I am in the mood for bourbon. The small batch version, that is, of course. The one thing that has actually changed a little bit is that, my hankerings have been a bit diverted to one of my newest favorite ones, which is the Kirkland Single Barrel 1792. So this one has sort of been taking the place of this one because it's, half the price and double the ABV. So there's something to be said about that, and it's quite good quality. So that definitely reasonably compares to some of the E.H. Taylors. But finding the E.H. Taylor barrel proof was a big find for us. Because like with the Weller and like with many of the bourbons that are kind of legacy bourbons, the first thing that pops in my head is, I wish it had a higher proof. And this is a perfect example of that. It's a perfect example of a whiskey that I love that also comes in a higher proof. So really, what's there not to like about it? Additionally, when we did see this one at the grand opening, we saw it for $56.89, which is going to be the best price you're going to find it at a non-government run liquor store state. I'd love for you to prove me wrong. If you find a lower price, put it down below. And the ABV on it is at 64.5% or 129 proof. That is a healthy ABV, which I think makes it a batch 11, if I recall correctly. So, this was kind of an answer to the prayers that I send out every night to the whiskey goddess while I'm wearing my whiskey feety pajamas, hoping for a higher ABV of some of the standard lines I love. And this is exactly that. So, of course, decided to get it. It also fills a great big hole in kind of the medium to lower lines of the E.H. Taylors, not getting into the Grain of the Gods or anything like that, which we haven't gotten to, but hopefully we will at some point. But this was a real good get for us. Real excited to have it, and I really look forward to opening this one up, maybe over the holidays, and when we have a special time of the year that kind of justifies those things. So that is the Colonel E.H. Taylor barrel proof, and yet another great get from Costco in 2023. All right, so for the second to last top 5 whiskeys we got from Costco in 2023, it is actually what I think is the best version of the line altogether, although it is not my favorite, which is going to be this Blanton's Gold. Ooh, yeah. In fact, I don't think we've ever seen the Gold prior to this in the United States. I think we had first picked one up in the previous year in 2022 from Paris and tried it and thought in my head, you know what? This really is like the ideal balanced version of Blanton's, especially comparing it to the entry-level kind of single barrel. The Gold leaps and bounds better, even though it's only a couple ABV points higher. But again, it doesn't seem to be that common in the United States, and it is even less so at Costco. So when we saw this one, again, at a grand opening, if you're catching a hint there, grand openings are places to check these things out. But we saw this one at the Costco grand opening. It was $96.99, which is about half the price you're going to find it for at your local liquor store or corner liquor shop. And the things that make the Blanton's Gold, in my mind, again, the best version is that first, the bottle, the bottle looks great. Look at it. It looks really, really cool. And I know people will be like, well, you can't drink the bottle and that doesn't matter, but it does matter. It really does. And if it didn't, then they wouldn't spend vast and stupid amounts of sums of money on making cool looking bottles like this. So I think that it does affect the taste in some way. Not sure how, but no, it does. The other fact is that the ABV is a bit higher than the Blanton's single barrel. On this one specifically, it is at 51.5% ABV, so that is 103 proof, I think, if my math is wrong, which it usually is. So it is definitely higher than the 46.5% or 93 proof that the normal Blanton's is at. And although it is just a couple of points higher, I think that higher ABV is better suited to convey those Blanton-y goodness profiles than at the lower, where it does seem a bit watered down. It feels like there's more oomph there, but it just can't get to it because it doesn't have the higher ABV to kind of convey those messages. So I think that higher ABV is nice. It's not too high like the SFTB, although SFTB is my personal favorite, but that's because, I'm one of the West Coast fire breathers. But I think that this one actually is better than the SFTB, and that's mainly the reason why we picked it up. Also, when we did try it in Europe, and I finished it off, but saved the bottle. But when we did try it in Europe, it was really, really good. And I thought this would be something nice to have to enjoy on a rare occasion, or if someone who's a Blanton's lover happens to be around and wants to try something that is less common, and it might be really interesting for them as well. So that was a great find as well, the Blanton's Gold bottle. So that was Amazing. Now, before we get to the last bottle on this list of 5 bottles, and I guess this makes it 7 bottles. I don't know. Honorable mentions. We're gonna do an honorable mention for some of the ones that we also found that were real exciting, but I guess just didn't make the list, sort of. And what does it matter? I'm making the list. It could be top 5, top 7. These 2 though are gonna be honorable mentions, and they are the older and younger brothers. That is Jack Daniel's 10 and Jack Daniel's 12, and these. I don't know. I was very, very ecstatic to find these ones, primarily because of the fact that, I have been a Jack Daniel's drinker since I have been drinking. And, Jack Daniel's as a whole by itself, the original number 7 is good. And it is good, I think, a lot of times because of the way that it connects to the nostalgia of the best years of people's lives in their youth while their lives are developing. So that is something to be said. But I always wondered what it would be like as it matures a little bit, as it gains a little bit more sophistication and perhaps a little bit more complexity over the years, like myself. I always wondered what that taste would look like. And getting one at 10 years and getting one at 12 years means that we get 2 separate examples of that to compare the 3 side by side. So these ones were really interesting to see. And again, I had never seen any age statements out of Jack Daniel's. I guess they haven't been around since quite some time. So seeing them and being able to get them were also amazing. The prices that we got them for were $77 and $76. So approximately the same price, but one we got in California and one we got in Arizona. So I think that accounts a little bit for the price difference and also the years and things like that. So these are the 2 I just wanted to throw in there because I thought they were, great finds. And, those are, I'm real excited to have those, which is the Jack Daniel's 10, Jack Daniel's 12, and it'll be good to see how they taste against lucky number 7. So that is the honorable mention of the 2 Jack Daniels. All right, so last up today, and as to not be accused of being a bourbon-centric individual, we have added one of the other ones that was an early in the year find, which is pretty amazing and has really grown on me over the last year or so. From when I initially tried it, I find myself reaching for it more and more often now, which is this Macallan 2022 Rare Cask. And yes, the 2023 is out there. And by the way, keep your eyes open because you might think you're getting the 2023 at Costco, but they are still selling the 2022. So don't get fooled, right? You don't want to get the 2022 and think it's not the 2023 or vice versa. In this case, this is the Macallan Rare Cask 2022. And it is a beautiful bottle, and it has all the pride and pageantry that goes along with the Macallan. And I don't know if maybe it has just been my taste palette in Scotch, as the wife and I have really kind of been scaling the mountain of Scotch, or perhaps a little bit of oxidization that has, added a nice kind of effervescence to it. But for whatever reason, it has been growing on me. This one we got at one of our local Costco's here in Los Angeles for $289.99, again, earlier in the year. And I think that the thing that is interesting about this one most, and after trying the 12 and the 18 and the 30 and some of the other ones, is that those are good. Yes, they are good. But the interesting thing about this one is that it is a Macallan's that is not confined by age statement. So that means that the Macallan maker, the master distillers, can really kind of focus on the flavor palette that they want and don't have to think about, oh, is the whiskey that I want in the flavor profile that we want also doesn't meet the age criteria. So they're restricted by that, by the number that they can. Additionally, so this one is nice because it is a mixture of what the distiller ideally wants, not what he has to compromise because he has to get something that fits that age profile. The other side to it is that allegedly, purportedly, it is made with the rarest cask from Macallan. That is arguable. And also there is some sort of weird collaboration with Nicola Benedetti, the violinist. I don't know what she does. She's not even drinking whiskey in the commercials. I don't know what's up with that. But the one thing that is true is that I think that it is a unique and really enjoyable version of Macallan, especially when you compare it to an age statement. Yes, you get the age on the older ones. You can taste that age in the whiskey, but I think in some ways they sometimes have to compromise on the profile that they want to create because it has to be that age statement. This one is not encumbered by that same situation. The ABV on this one, like the Japanese whiskeys, are really not there to be impressive at 43%. You're not gonna really have any sort of overindulgence at 43%, unless you're really chugging it real quick. So, but that's not really the point of the Macallan. The Macallan is that it is to be enjoyed, and also, again, if you drink all the other Macallans, then it's a unique perspective on it that really makes it interesting. And I was really happy to find it at Costco. I wouldn't say that it's rare since they had it at the beginning of the year and they had it back, but it's always a nice find, and I'm glad that I got it. And we also got a 2023, I think, roaming around here, which we're going to compare side by side. So that is the Macallan Rarecast 2022, the last of the top 5 bottles that we got at Costco, and I guess we could call it 7, right? Because these ones are pretty excited too. Honorable mentions. But if you do like these videos, if you like the Wanders, if you like the hauls, if you like the long videos, if you like the short videos, if you like the unbottlings, you like the unboxings, and you like all the amazing stuff that we got cooking up for you, and we got really tons and tons of amazing stuff cooking up for you, obviously, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it does really help the channel to grow. And of course, we are so thankful for that, but also because you get updates when our newest videos come out. So with that, just keep in mind that if you do find a whiskey that you love, just buy it, because if you don't, somebody else surely will, and in this case, it might even be me. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. Have a great rest of your year. Happy holidays, happy New Year's, etc., etc. Yeah, I'm out. Adios. Cheers.